LEGO might finally start listening to what we've been saying for years. A few days ago, LEGO opened up a survey called the LEGO Fan Compass that allows us to share our thoughts and give feedback on the current state of the brand. This is a great opportunity to voice issues and concerns directly. This isn't speculation about what LEGO could do, they're literally asking us what they should do. Now, what are the main problems with LEGO? I'd say rising prices, an over-reliance on licensed IPs, and some quality issues. I did a more in-depth video on these topics that I'll link below, but for now, let's talk about what LEGO might realistically change based on our feedback. When it comes to pricing, I don't think LEGO will do a whole lot unless they see a significant drop in sales. I always encourage people to wait for discounts and hold off on buying overpriced sets, but time and time again, they sell out. Because of that, I don't see LEGO making major changes here, even if they get a lot of feedback. Any decrease in price is ultimately a decrease in their profit margins. That said, giving feedback on what's included in sets, like more minifigures or more printed elements in sets that cost hundreds of dollars, is much more realistic. That's something LEGO could adjust to add value without cutting too heavily into their margins. What I really want to talk about though is encouraging LEGO to make more unlicensed sets, especially castle themed ones, and not just $100+ display sets, but smaller playsets and battle packs that are actually accessible to the average collector. A big issue I see is the increasing focus on licensed themes like Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, and many others. Right now, LEGO can get away with only releasing large, expensive sets for their older original themes, such as the Pirates of Barracuda Bay or the Lion Knight's Castle. This is because longtime adult fans are willing to pay for them. Why? Because they grew up with them. A big reason I got back into LEGO Castle was finding some of my old Kingdoms figures and parts, and my interest just took off from there. The issue is that kids nowadays don't really have those $5 to $50 entry sets for most unlicensed themes outside of the main few. Instead, they end up collecting cheaper licensed sets from Marvel or Star Wars because that's what's mainly available at those lower price points. That creates a cycle where fans grow up attached to licensed themes instead of LEGO's original ones. That's a problem long term because you can't then release, for example, big castle sets 20 years down the line and still have those newer adult fans with an attachment to them from their childhood. What made themes like Castle, Pirates, Atlantis, or Power Miners so special was that they were LEGO's worlds. You weren't just buying a set, you were creating your own stories and ideas with what's in front of you. If you buy a Star Wars set, you already know exactly what it is. It exists in a universe with established characters and rules. But if you buy something like a LEGO Kingdom set, there's a lot more freedom. Sure, LEGO might provide a bit of lore, but it's far less rigid and you can build your own stories, factions, and characters however you want. Another reason to push for more unlicensed themes is cost. Without licensing fees, sets tend to be cheaper to produce. LEGO likely has target profit margins for each set, so removing those fees is one of the easiest ways to offer better value. This is where the survey really matters, because instead of just saying sets are too expensive, we can offer a real solution that actually makes sense from a business standpoint. I'm a massive castle fan, so that's the theme I suggested. It's also probably the most popular unlicensed theme without a current wave of sets, but feel free to suggest whatever you want to see. My hope is that with enough feedback, LEGO will recognize there's a large enough audience to bring back this classic theme in a meaningful way. Unlicensed themes in general feel like a huge win for LEGO right now. There's more room in the budget for new pieces and minifigures, better value for customers, and more creative flexibility overall. Imagine if instead of getting one $100+ castle set every year, we got $20 battle packs, small $20 to $40 outposts, siege weapons, and a full range of sets at different price points showing medieval life. That would make the theme far more accessible, not just for kids, but for adults who don't want to spend a ton of money just to get into it. I didn't get back into LEGO Castle by immediately buying the Lion Knight's Castle. I dug out my childhood bin and started building my own creations and custom minifigures. In my opinion, that's where LEGO really shines. A variety of factors, including increased screen time and technology, are leading to less creativity, and LEGO is a great way to counter that. But just buying display sets based on your favorite show that end up sitting on a shelf isn't the same thing. We need sets that actually encourage creativity, ones that let your imagination run free. This survey is a big deal. LEGO isn't necessarily heading in the best direction for fans right now, so I encourage all of you to fill it out and consider mentioning some of the points from this video. If you want more ideas for what to mention, check out my video Is LEGO Getting Worse?, where I go deeper into issues like declining part and minifigure quality, and I'll leave that in the description. One more thing you might want to suggest if you're a castle fan is smaller sets for themes like Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons. Even if you're not into those IPs, they usually come with great parts for custom builds and minifigures, and they have strong fan bases, so it's a realistic ask. If you want to fill out the survey, I'll leave a link in the description. I recommend being as detailed and thoughtful as possible so your feedback has a better chance of being taken seriously. This could be the start of another golden age for castle or unlicensed themes in general if LEGO actually listens. If you want to stay up to date on LEGO Castle or other LEGO news, make sure to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.